everyone! Welcome back to another 2v2 battle. This is going to be the double clan Engrand versus double greenskins, a very common matchup in the recent weeks since the DLC hit. My army here, we have 4 Dwarf Warriors stacked in 2 rows deep. We have the Grumbling Guard, because I will probably take them, as I've said, almost in any battle. We also have a group of Longbeards, 2 Miners back here protecting my Scolder Guard, and then my Orkin Gun also back there. And then over here we have 3 Rangers with great weapons to kind of come out and spring a trap in case anybody decides to be super sneaky here on the left side, which you can see my gyrocopters now being used to scout out immediately. I didn't used to bring gyrocopters nearly at all, but against the DLC greenskins with all their skulking units, I think the 700 or 600, one of those two, is a very worthy investment in bringing a scout gyrocopter to find out where these nasty skulkers could be waiting for you. And then I also brought 2 of the Thane Ethereal new lords for Clan Engrand because I'm a jerk. That simply said. And then Ethereal is also a jerk because he too brought the 2 Ethereal Thanes. We have 2 Thunderers, a front line of Dwarf Warriors, the Rune Lord, also, you saw there, but being led by Belagrar and Hammer, if I didn't mention that. Sorry. We also have a Grudge Thrower, the Goblobber. We have 2 Longbeards on the flanks, 2 Slayers on the flanks, and then the Grumbling Guard he brought as well because I've been telling him to bring them in every battle because they're so good. And then we also have 2 more Gyrocopters here with the Brimstone Guns. The enemy, 2 Greenskins. We have the Durkic Squigs over here. We have some nasty Skulkers being pulled up into the front. We have Goblin Archers here being led by Grimgore, 2 Black Orcs, 3 Orc Boy Biggins, a Orc Shaman, 2 Arachnarok Spiders for the green player. And then for the deep blue player here, we have a total of 3 Goblin Wolf Chariots, including the renowned one. We have the Death Creepers, which are the Stalking Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers. We have the Morgub's Manging Marauders, which are the Armor Piercing Wolf Archers. We have 3 Savage Orc Air Boys, which you never see Savage Orc Air Boys at all. Let me actually press play here. We have an entirely front line of Black Orcs here, mixed in with also the Crimson, there they are, the Crimson Killers. A lot of Black Orcs. We also have the Rusty Errors and more Nasty Skulkers, 3 of them over here. So a total of 5 Nasty Skulkers. I think we have 6 Black Orcs and then the Crimson Killers. Yeah, and then Goblin Wolf Chariots, man. That really was a surprise. The people leading the blue army is going to be Skarsnik and his pal Gobla. See, over here we're going to uncover the Vanguard deployed Durkic Squigs. I'm like, hey, look, there's some Squigs. I'm just going to follow them. Not really to injure them, I'm just continuing my scouting mission up here to see if we find any, specifically any of these guys, nasty Skulkers waiting for us. You can see the Goblobber lobbing some Night Goblins strapped to the stones over here against the mobile force of the blue player. We of course can't see the Death Creepers quite yet. We will see them at some point, maybe around right here, as I continue my scouting mission. So much mobility. A very fast, mobile, ranged force is unique. You don't see this, really, ever. Over here, I may have caught a sight of the Nasty Skulkers, but I am kind of being pushed out here by these Goblin Archers. I think I did see them, because I'm coming back, I think, to bomb them. There we go. Actually, now I see them. So we know that there are at least 2 Nasty Skulkers heading up in this area. The blue player is posturing over here, being very defensive, not really moving up. They don't really have any artillery, though, so the artillery is in our favor with the Orkin Gun and then the 2 Grudge Throwers, one of which being the Goblobber. Right here, I'm trying to find a good position to fire one of my bombs, but this player kept moving the Nasty Skulkers over because they know exactly what I'm doing. I'm trying to do that. I'm like, well, you know what? That's it. I'm getting out of here. I'm taking too much range fire from all of this mobile wolf ranged infantry here, or cav. So I'm just going to get out of here. I don't want to lose my gyrocopters to these units quite yet. We have one more bomb waiting to be dropped, and there's those Death Creepers, so we know that they're up here. We know there's a whole bunch of meanness up here. Right now, we do not know about the 3 additional Skulkers sitting back here, of course.
We are relentless.
Because why would we? I haven't scouted them out yet. Surreal's scouting mission with his 2 gyrocopters didn't find anything obvious to us now, but not obvious to us, when we were playing it. But nothing was over here, so he is now sending his force over here with my gyrocopter. My Rangers are in position to try and ambush any force that comes down this way. And I know that there were 2 Nasty Skulkers that we saw up here, and of course I can't see them anymore. And so I'm going to kind of keep checking over here because there is a path that they could, in theory, take right over here to get around our army. I don't know if the enemy realizes this, and I've only played this map like twice, so I just discovered it this time playing. But you can totally sneak some people around this way. So you're going to see me, I think, a couple times. I'm going to be popping gyrocopters in this area just to make sure that they're not doing that. The mobile cav ranged here is going to come down and start popping shots at my Ethereal Lord. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Totally fine. I'm going to get my organ gun in position to fire at him. Unfortunately, though, right here... Oh, actually, no, they start firing. It took me a while. I think I had them on... I took their fire off on will off for a while. Because initially I thought that maybe these weren't going to be worth putting some organ gun rounds into. But I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's take a couple shots. We'll scare them off, and we did. And so far, I do not think they know about these 3 rangers quite yet. And over here, Surreal's 2 grudge throwers are just having a field day by launching into these groups of densely packed Blackworks, who are just kind of standing here taking it. More specifically, the Crimson Killers, which is a good target to hit, because they are very scary. They look badass. Here comes some Night Goblins. Goblins are all the best. And another one. Yep, so that's going to be happening, I think, for a while. Like, this player just refuses to move up, even though they have no artillery at all. So they're just going to take the shots from Surreal. Meanwhile, over here, I'm still trying to keep tabs, you can see, on this specific path over here to see if these nasty skulkers are trying to sneak by. Because I was thinking, he keeps pushing, or they keep pushing up with this mobile archer force, and I was thinking they were just trying to push my gyrocopter away so they can then sneak their nasty skulkers, which are now actually over here, so they can sneak them past without me knowing. So I kept checking over here, because I thought that's the only reason why you would push up with this force. But that's what's happening over there. Over here, the Black Orcs are now... Where are they? Oh, right here. Are now being pulled back because they just got nailed by grudge throws over and over and over again. So Surreal's force, I think, is actually going to move up. Yep. His force is going to move up. I'm going to actually stay here, seeing how much action is over on this side. I don't really want to expose my flank by moving my army up into right here. Now, I could position it so that my army front line is like this, but I like this approach better. I want the enemy to come down the hill, and so then I can just get them kind of corralled right here and have my organ gun have a very good position to fire right there. And then, you know, we're just going to complete this by making a little goblin happy face. That's a goblin happy face. This little goblin ears. Actually, I guess we can make all green. There's his eyes. There's a little... No, I can't. Darn it. There we go. Goblin. Now he's set. Anyway, I love these little penny tools. They come over here to push my gyrocopter out once again, and I'm thinking that this is a maneuver to try and get the nasty skulkers through, but I'm going to put some shots into them. I'm going to pull my army back a little bit so they are out of range of this force that's perched on the hill, make them come down here into the range of my organ gun. Maybe it was right now is when I turned off fire at will. Maybe that's what happened. I'm going to turn it on again here soon-ish. Surreal's force is over here, moved up, and once again continuing to pummel those Black Orcs with the Night Goblins strapped to the rocks. Still hitting the Crimson Killers. Very odd. This player just did not want to move up. I'm guessing they were really expecting a lot to happen with this force. So they really wanted to harass me before they moved up in numbers, I guess. You can see I'm taking about half damage from my gyrocopter. My organ gun decided to start shooting because I turned it off, or put it on friendly fire, or fire at will, not friendly fire. And I have such a good angle of fire with this organ gun right here that I really don't want to move from my position, and we don't have to. Since we have the artillery superiority here with Surreal's longer range grudge throwers, we can just kind of sit, as dwarves do, and they're just going to continually hound this enemy force, and eventually they're going to get tired of getting shot at, and they will come off the hills. Eventually. Over here you can see, I think I told Surreal about this back path, and so he is currently checking with his 2 gyrocopters to see if the nasty skulkers have went by over there, but they have not, because they are right over here, which we will find out soon-ish. And you can see the green player is now moving up their entire force up this way, including their Ragnarok spiders. And soon, here they go. I think finally the blue player is going to move up their infantry force, and they are going to continue to be hounded by Surreal's artillery, who is now in the last like 25% of their ammo. They have been able to fire quite a lot. And I'm just waiting for this force to come down the hill, and we can just kind of move up and ambush them and try. What I'm trying to do is keep a line of fire. I ideally want to fight like around here, so my organ gun can continually fire into these forces. And they are just now tired of my organ gun, so they're going to move up and try and start to assault it. That's when I'm going to move up my rangers with great weapons, and we're going to try and destroy this force here. I don't know. I love messing around with the paint tools. Throwing our gyrocopters. Here comes Surreal gyrocopters. My organ gun is continuing to fire. We have dropped the Rune of Wrath and Ruin here on the wolves. Trying to get my Thane up here to try and push them off, apply pressure. And you can see they're just taking a lot of fire. The 2 Goblin Archers come here, perched on the hill, and they start to fire over here, but we are pulling back. And it's okay if we get some shots from our Thane there. It's totally okay. Right now, just targeting these wolf chariots, trying to destroy as many as I can. And once again, we have rediscovered the nasty skulkers waiting for us there. I guess they're trying to aggravate me to the point where I will move up the hill into all of this, which is not going to happen. Not at all. So I'm just going to continue to kind of withdraw a force a little bit out of range of their artillery or their archers. Meanwhile, over here, the march of the Black Orcs continues that are now taking fire from the Thunderers as well as the Grudge Throwers. And you can see they have taken so much damage. The Crimson Killers are nearly destroyed. There they go routing off. This group of Black Orcs is nearly destroyed. These groups are going to be taking fire from an Orc gun, which I've now repositioned so that it can support Surreal's fight against the Black Orcs, because I am more scared of those than of these mobile archer force. They throw their Goblin Wolf Riders in here, but they were so close to breaking anyway. We throw our Thane in here, and that finishes them off with the Fear and the Terror. Continuing to get our Gyrocopter shots into these forces, and I'm making sure not to get my kind of very weak Rangers, well, weak armored Rangers into range of their Goblin Archers, so I continue pulling back, because again, we have the artillery superiority. So, 2-ish of those Black Orcs finally managed to make it into the front lines of Surreal's force. So his Dwarf Warriors that are backed up by the Rune Lord and just all kinds of goodness are going to be able to win this fight, including the 2 Ethereal Thanes. Skarsnik is now pulling out to, I guess, meet up with the rest of his force, which is coming back from routing. There's his artillery or archer force of the Savage Orcs came around, but now this Thane is in here just kind of causing havoc. You can see the Nasty Skulkers decided to come down off the hill. I'm going to hold them in place with our 2 Thanes, which are not going to really take much damage from the Nasty Skulkers. And we're going to hit them with our Gyrocopter, and they're just going to run terrified and afraid of these 2 Thanes. Thunderer is now applying pressure on the Savage Orcs. A very odd battle. So the Arachnarok decides to come off the hill, and I'm going to throw once again my Thane into the Arachnarok. Or actually, I guess it throws into my Thane, which is not its ideal target. You do not want your Arachnarok to engage against an Ethereal Thane with an organ gun sitting right here. I also now have my Skoldagar in position to fire its armor-piercing steam rounds into whatever descends upon the hill over here. My 3 Rangers are also over here applying pressure to this Arachnarok Spider. You can see so many axes being thrown, and this Arachnarok is going to just collapse. Here comes the other Arachnarok off the hill just in time to see the friend of its is going to retreat. Here comes some more Black Orcs as well. Thunderer is applying pressure to the ranged unit of the blue player still. And the melee forces of the blue player, I mean, it really wasn't much of a fight over here. They are just getting wrapped up easily by the Dwarf Warriors and the Rune Lord because there was not much left. And then in my fight, you can see my steam armor piercing rounds going on. These Black Orcs are going to hold them off with a simple group of miners as our Organ Gun still continues to apply pressure. The Arachnarok Queen is here, and I believe she summons her Spiderlings into my Organ Gun, I think. Going to apply some buffs for our friendly troops up there in the front line from our Rune Lord, while maintaining our fire with the Skolder Guard into these Black Orcs. Organ Gun into the Arachnarok Spider, also being supported by the 3 range groups who just got foot of gorked. Here comes the Nasty Skulker, down and around, but we're going to hit them with our Dwarf Warriors, so that's going to be okay. And you can see the concentrated armor piercing fire and the 2 Thanes push off the 2nd Arachnarok Spider. More Skolder Guard AoE getting into these Black Orcs is doing a lot of damage. They have a great field of fire here, and they're going to do a lot of AoE armor piercing damage there. Most of my force isn't even engaged because I don't need to. I'm just kind of throwing them in here piecemeal as I need to. You can see this group of miners does get pulled back, routed off, but we're going to throw in, well, actually, we're going to get caught here with a Rune Lord, throwing in Belagar to finally fight against these Nasty Skulkers, and pulling in some more reinforcements here. Surreal's fight, the Savage Orcs, the Mobile Archer Force got caught here by the Dwarf Slayers, so they're going to get dealt with. Over here, Skarsnik is being murdered by the Dwarf Lord, the Rune Lord, some Ethereal Thanes, and Dwarf Warriors. Again, really not much of a fight. They are getting hit by these Savage Orc arrows, but they don't really do that much. And finally, the Orc Lord Biggins decide to come into the fight, and they slam into the front line of Dwarf Warriors, of Belagar, of our Rune Lord. Some do make a pass to get into our Skolder Guard here, but we're going to support them with a group of miners. Our Rangers are still relatively unhurt. Well, actually, some of them took a little bit of damage. They have used most of their ammunition on the 2 Spiders and various Black Orcs at this time. Belagar is... Where's Belagar? He's out here. He's getting knocked over by Orc Boy Biggins. Don't worry about that. The 2 Thanes, though, are holding off these groups of Black Orcs by themselves for the most part. They are very good at doing that. The Grumbling Guard is just kind of moving around to increase our stamina for all of our dwarves around here. Orc Boy Biggins still getting held off by the Dwarf Warriors, who is supported by my Rune Smith over here. Surreal's fight is for the most part, wrapped up. Just kind of deal with this ranged force, which again is not doing much damage against the high dwarf armor. So it's really not that worrying. Very weird fight, this one. Very weird fight. They're really high focus on the archer part of their army. It's something I don't see often. But Belegar and the two Thanes, the Grumbly Guard, are just going to go over here and deal with the remaining Black Orcs and these Orc Boy Biggins. I'm not sure why Belegar keeps slowly moving. I thought I gave him an attack order, but maybe I didn't. And you can see Cyril is now moving on the position of the Goblin Archers and the Savage Orc Archers over there. As I am routing the green player, all that's left is now Grimgor, who is now way outnumbered. Very, very heavily outnumbered. There are some more Goblin Archers over here, but they are currently withdrawing. You can see the Arachnoids that come back from routing, but the Slayers here from Cyril are going to go over there and deal with that. Morgan Gun is now helping Cyril against these Archers as he continues to move forward and take not that much damage because Dwarf Warriors are shielded and have very high armor. Green player starts to rout, and then the blue player starts to rout. A very odd battle. An odd build here for the blue player, specifically with the focus on the ranged archers. I like it. I'm not saying it's bad. Well, it's not great against dwarves due to their high armor nature, but I kind of see what they were maybe going for. They had a lot of black orcs to deal with all of our heavy armor, and I think the range was supposed to go around and snipe rangers, probably. Unfortunately, though, the blue player let their black orcs just get crushed by Cyril's Goblobber and Grudge Thrower over here. And then I just kind of slowly withered their range force over here with my Orkin Gun, basically my Orkin Gun, until they were very weakened, and they finally charged in. But by that point, they were so weakened that they couldn't handle the Dwarf Infantry of Cyril, and yeah, I kind of see where the build's going. It's just they needed to be more aggressive with it, I think, to have a chance. Those poor Black Orcs were murdered before they even met Cyril's lines. So, I don't know. And then the Arachnoids kind of trailed in one at a time, so allowed my Rangers to just focus them down along with my Orkin Gun, and they died pretty fast when there's three great weapon Rangers throwing axes into their face, into all these goblins on these little platforms. But anyway, good game to my opponents and to Cyril. I do feel bad for being jerks. We had 4 Ethereal Thanes. They are very hard to deal with unless you bring magical damage, which our enemy did not. They had a Shaman who could cast spells, but that's not quite the same. So yeah, they did some work here in this battle. They held off 2 Arachnoid Spiders. They held off Black Orcs by themselves. They're really good. The Ethereal units are really good. If you play in 1v1s, I would guess you're almost always going to see either one or if not both of the Ethereal Thanes. Is my guess. Also probably a Rune Lord over Belegar. Maybe. Anyway, frontline Dwarf units did pretty good. They held off who they needed to, while our damage dealers of the Rangers and the Orkin Gun did what they did. Skoldergar with his AoE armor piercing got 36 kills against mostly Black Orcs and Orc Boy Biggins, so that's pretty good. For Cyril here, Rune Lord got a couple kills, but they're just there to buff. The Ethereal Lords did really well, and you can see he did not take much damage at all. His Goblobbers and Grudge Thrower did so good. The Brimstone Guns did really well. The Thunderers got a lot of kills. Just a lot of kills across the board, man. The enemy army was just way too weakened before they met Cyril's infantry line and they couldn't last. Let's see here. For Grill Migger, the Savage Orc and ranged player here, not many kills, which is not surprising. The Goblin Wolf Chariots are just not worth it, in my opinion, but kudos to you to at least give it a shot. 2 of them and then the Renown unit. The Savage Orc Errors are a unique choice. You don't see them often. They can do a lot of weapon damage in melee after they expend all their ammunition, but again, against Orcs, against the Dwarves, just not really an ideal pick. The Black Orcs is obviously great, but they just weren't rushed in quick enough, along with the Nasty Skulkers. And then for a spray here, with the 2 Arachnoid Spiders, they each got a single kill each, because they went against my Ethereal Lords, and I think a group of Dwarf Warriors or Miners that I sent over there as well. So yeah, don't let your Arachnoids get held up by a single Ethereal Lord. It's just not going to work out for you, especially when they're supported by so much armor-piercing damage that's nearby. But good try, though. Let's see, anything else? Black Orc, 84 kills is not bad. The Goblo, 22 kills is not bad. Probably against my Rangers, if I were to guess. I may have just missed that. But yeah, overall, I liked their builds. It just they weren't aggressive enough, fast enough. So they got kind of, destroyed here and there. But I hope you enjoyed the battle, everybody. Showing off Belegar, although he honestly didn't get to do too much. But there he is. The Ethereal Lords did more than he did. They're so good. The Ethereal Dwarf units are so good. Oh, man, they're stupid, I think. Anyway, Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you have a good day. Take care.